Hi guys, so welcome back. Thanks for checking in today. My dear friend Eric is still here visiting me, and
Hi guys.
this guy. And we're just kind of continuing on the conversation that we had started in our last video. We had talked a little bit about the not practicing privacy as a lifestyle choice, right? And Eric had mentioned that when that comes up in conversation with people, they typically go in a few different directions. Last time the direction was, what did we say?
What did we say?
I don't even remember. But another direction. Watch the video.
Oh,
and
right.
you'll
Well,
see,
right. So I mean, so they say what you walk around with your clothes off in front of open windows,
right.
kind of thing.
Right. You don't
what
practice
is
privacy.
Yeah.
You're out there pooping on the street and walking naked in your front of your windows. No,
Not so
no. That's not it at all. Right. Not practicing privacy really means being an open book, and being an open book for someone to look into. Right. So it really only comes up in the context of being asked a question about your life, right? It's not a practice where you're wearing it on your sleeve and you're just running around. And I had hinted on this. I call this oral diarrhea, or mental vomit is another one, where you don't walk around with your inside voice becoming your outside voice, or that chatterbox and all of that nonsense that it's always repeating and droning on and on and on about. You don't share that with the world. Who wants to hear that, right? If we wanted to hear that, we would turn on TV. No, we don't want to hear that. This is more in the context of someone's asking you a question. By not practicing privacy, you are giving them a very authentic answer, one right from the heart, and we'll jump back to that. But another area that people tend to go to when they learn that you don't practice privacy is, oh, so you can't keep a secret, right? Oh, so if I share something with you, you're going to go and gossip all over town. You can't keep a secret. Eric, would you say that's true? Can you keep a secret?
I would say that I'm a very good secret keeper. If you ask me to keep a secret, I'll keep a secret for you.
Right.
I don't know. Have you ever asked me to keep a secret for you?
No, because I don't practice
I know,
privacy.
me neither. So, but if you were to,
right,
I'm your man.
It would be respected.
Yeah.
Right. And so honoring someone else's choice around privacy is not the issue here either. That's not the teaching.
Yeah. I mean, it's totally appropriate to honor someone else's privacy.
Absolutely.
It's about your personal privacy, not about other people's.
Yeah, and this comes up on a day-to-day experience for me. I find myself in conversations where people are often sharing some very intimate details about their life. In fact, just the other day, let me tell you, no, I'm kidding. You should have heard what Eric said earlier. No, I'm kidding. So people tend to around me. Now, I have spent years developing facility around getting people to open up into their heart space, right? And getting them to share and to be a catalyst for healing, right? And in those contexts, some of these intimate things come up, and I never think about reiterating them with other people. They're very personal to them, and they're meant to be. It's like that HIPAA, the whole new slew of legislation around information and privacy. What is it?
Medical records and.
What does it stand for? Medical records and details and all that stuff, right? Only the people who are privy to that are allowed to have that information. Anyway, so I think you get the idea. I'm starting to babble here. But let's go back a step to what we were touching on just a moment ago. In that it's really what we're talking about is authentic sharing. So again, in the context of being asked a question, not practicing privacy means really sharing what's there for you in your heart. At your deepest level. Would you agree?
Yes. Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
And the question that comes up, okay, so well, why? What's the value of that? You know, what? Totally get that you don't want to put your chatterbox on the outside and make your mental vomit their mental vomit too, and just like have people deal with that. That's not what we're up to. We're up to sharing authentically. So my question is, what does that have to do with our chatterbox?
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, perfect. So what does that have to do with the chatterbox? What we discover is that the more that you play with this type of practice, what you will discover is that the chatterbox rarely reveals what is there to be shared authentically, what is actually there for us. The chatterbox tends to mask and limit our ability to see what is actually and authentically there for us.
It's called often living in story.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just stories about what's actually there rather than what's actually there.
Yeah. So an example of this would be, how was your day today? And you say, I'm doing okay. And there's that, emotional undertone in your voice that says, maybe this person really isn't doing okay. Maybe I should probe a little deeper and find out what's going on, right? And so then I would say, are you sure that you're okay? What's really going on? And then this person will look and they'll say, oh, my wife is leaving me, right? And then you kind of look a little further and they're going to have their story about it, oh, she's tired of me not taking out the trash anymore. No matter how many times she tells me I just can't take out the trash, right? Those kinds of things are story. Obviously, if someone is really talking about getting a divorce, it's not about taking out the trash, right? But the chatterbox is going to be focused on something as silly and intangible and filled with judgment as taking out the trash or not taking out the trash. But if you were to look a little deeper, you might find that, in this fictitious example, that perhaps they're no longer able to authentically relate to each other. Maybe this couple has grown apart and they're both moving in different life directions, and the way that that's manifesting in their life is one partner is no longer interested in taking out the trash, right? They're no longer interested in handling the day-to-day details of the relationship, So there's something underneath, and the chatterbox just tends to mask that. And so, again, we go back to this sharing of our authentic self, Come up with another example. Let's see. What's a way that you've found recently in your life? That you've found someone has asked you an intimate question and you had to stop and check in and really see where was your answer coming from an authentic place.
Right. Well, one area has been around for a while now is my career and my professional life. I've been not confused about what I want to do, but definitely not moving forward as quickly as I'd like to, mostly because I don't know exactly how I want to move forward. I'm an entrepreneur at heart, and I want to get involved in new businesses that are fun, exciting, inspiring, and work, and it's just been a dry spell for that kind of stuff until very recently. And the reason is because I started sharing what that was like for me authentically instead of answering people's questions. People always ask, what do you do for work? What do you do for money? What's your job? And I would feed them some line like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur. I like working on the internet, and I guess I do stuff on the side like technical editing for people.
Just kind of
sharing, kind of like
chatterbox babbling.
Right, exactly.
About it, right?
And then maybe I'll even go a little deeper and tell them what my hopes for the future are. Is, I'm into this thing. I hope it works someday, right? And what's actually there for me is, I don't know what I'm doing right now. I know what inspires me, but I don't see that anywhere in front of me. I do want to be an entrepreneur. I want to work with awesome people. Nobody's showing up. I'm frustrated. I feel a little bit down. I'm broke. The kind of stuff that people can really relate to. Well, I tell you, as soon as I started sharing that way with people, opportunities started opening up. First of all, that's the one magical thing. And then second of all, my own little chatterbox had nothing left to say to me. I already revealed the secret. I spilled the beans to other people.
Sure.
And so it didn't have to constantly nag at me all day long. Oh, you're not doing it right. Right? You should be online looking for something. You should be calling this person. And oh, you're such a terrible person for not doing it. You should feel guilty and wrong. And
so what's great that you just touched on a little bit is that in that authentic sharing and recognizing that you weren't sharing authentically initially, and that you've moved into that space and have started putting effort and more awareness into it, the chatterbox runs out of this fuel around these opportunities, and then the chatterbox no longer can maintain this sense of control and be that forefront conversation on a day-to-day experience. And so then what happens is, like we've talked about before, you start to become more receptive, and you start to develop a natural sense of wonderment. And please add in if this has been your experience. You start to develop this natural sense of wonderment, and it's in that space that the magic starts to happen, and the conversation around you can start to shift, and then new opportunities can appear, and the right people might show up. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. Well, it occurs to me we could even do a whole 3 talks about what life is like when that chatterbox is, I don't want to say managed or handled, because it never really is. I mean, it's just going to chatter. But when it's not leading us, by the nose in life, when it's not stirring up all the emotions that some of those circular conversations stir up. And, and as I was sharing in the realm of work and what I do for a living, I transformed that. My chatterbox no longer stirs that stuff up anymore, and so we could even talk about more of, okay, well then what's next?
Yeah.
what can you create in life when you're not having to manage this chatterbox?
I think maybe we should do that.
We should probably do that.
We should probably do that. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. So again, maybe after watching this video, you might be re-inspired to just for a day. Just do it for a day. Try it for a day. And if you like it, do it for another day, right? But take on the hat of, I'm not going to practice privacy today. I'm going to really be authentic with the people in my life. And when they ask me how I'm doing, I'm really going to say. And listen for those question marks, because they are really opportunities for you to stop and take a moment and check in. Is this an answer coming from my chatterbox, or is this really authentic and underneath that chatterbox and more in that heart space? Take a look. Let us know in the comments how you're doing. And thanks for listening.